Tell me a little bit about why you chose to be an early adopter of Business Objects 4.1.
And that's a very interesting question. As typically, we were never really an early adopter when it came to some of our software releases because of the large or complex environment that we have in 3M for our BI. We generally would wait for several releases, but Stefan reached out to us at the end of, I believe it was December of 2011, and asked if we wanted to be part of the customer validation program for Feature Pack 3 of BI4. And we saw great value in participating because we saw it as an opportunity to get engaged early. It would give us some key learnings, see what new functionality and features were coming, and it would really prepare us for a global upgrade to our environment.
You said something interesting in your presentation about, and you just touched on it a little bit, learning the tool is not enough. The users should know the data.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Really, so you can take it as an analogy between a car and a map. You can teach somebody how to drive a car, but if they don't have a map of the city, it's very difficult for them to navigate.
Right.
And they might get lost. So the same thing what we decided, the users, it's easy to train them on the tool. But we needed them to understand how the data has been stored, how they can access, and what is the most effective way to access.
Right.
So we put more focus during our training on the business data training too.
Ben, Agile can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. What did it mean to W.W. Granger? How did you guys approach it from your point of view?
So Agile is definitely that umbrella in term that covers a number of different methodologies. What we're doing primarily is Scrum at Granger.
Okay.
So we have broken down into different teams within the different modules within SAP. So the team that I'm leading currently is within the CRM area.
Okay.
And what we're doing is building solutions for the sales force and trying to get out to them as fast as we can. So that's the flavor that we're using currently.
Why did you think it could work? I mean, why did you think it could work in this particular area?
Well, we had a specific timeline that we couldn't meet with a traditional method. So we had something that had to get out sooner than we could do with the traditional waterfall method. So we decided, let's try to get a piece out using Agile and Scrum, and we found great success with it and actually continued on.
Sherry-Ann, one of the, at Bridget's keynote the other day, texted out a thing to say, hey, tell us what you're, and lo and behold,
drum roll, please.
drum roll, take a wild guess what came in top.
Success factors
Success
and
factor.
core.
Yes. Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. These questions have been going on for a year. I've had a lot of discussions with consultants and our own HCM community about it. Everyone's a little confused. So the success factors product is really great, and everyone gets that. They get the equation, but you can't. We don't at our SAP hardcore on-premise product owners don't look at it as most other people have looked at the success factors equation. We're saying I've got all this stuff on site. I own all this stuff, and it all integrates. And so I don't want to just plug it in 3 to 6 months. I really want to understand what my long-term strategy should be to move to the cloud. And plan that out.
So does SAP need to do more in terms of helping answer some of those questions?
Yes, they need to dumb it down. They need to dumb it down for us because the people that most of the business, the salespeople are talking to are business people, right? And HR doesn't ask these questions, and they'll come to us and they say, we know what we want. And when you deep drill the questions, they really don't know what they want, or they haven't really thought about how it's going to talk to another piece of the system, or what it's going to look like when an employee logs on and the information transfer isn't immediate. They don't see the immediate change that happened in their personnel data. It's another change management. It's not insurmountable, but it's things that need to be considered.
Sven, Roy just talked about those 4 areas. As you talk to customers, is that message resonating? Because simplification is always something that you'll hear from ASUG members, SAP customers. We want you guys to simplify.
Yeah.
Is that resonating? Do people get it now?
Yeah. It is resonating because we start to speak the business language of the people. And you need to see that 60% of the IT spend today is already influenced by a line of business which is not IT. I would argue IT is a line of business, but we're looking more like the VP of marketing, the VP of sales, the HR officer, the procurement officer. They want a solution who solves their business problem. That's why, while focusing on those 4 key areas, we've added 2 things in those 12 months. First, it is the idea of business velocity that drives where we prioritize investment. Second, we have developed the right mix between on-premise and cloud, which brings me to add that the SAP HANA Cloud Platform, which we have put underneath, helps us tremendously to consume all the innovation. So in the cloud, you will get all innovation first. And the second is we take care about that integration problem. A lot of clients, and of course the ASUG members know, and they have invested rightfully so in our on-premise business, and they will keep their on-premise business in certain areas. And we have invested a lot in those integration topics like prepackaging as best as you can. We know there is still work to be done, but what I've seen in the last 12 months to get our existing installed base to embrace the cloud via the push of a line of business, and then use our technology to make that happen, that has been outstanding.
Well, I wonder, you brought up integration. I think that's a good point. We hear about loosely coupled apps. What does that mean, actually? Can you define that for our members? Because it sounds like it's easy peasy, but I don't know. I'd like to hear more.
We do all know life is not easy. Landscapes are heterogeneous, and by the way, they will stay. And the cloud as a topic didn't make that easier. But the way now how we tackle it is, of course, helping our customers, leading them the way. So a year before, the question was, what is cloud really about? This year, it's really about, I want to go there, I want that promise, but help me. And I think loosely coupled as a concept we introduced last year was important to do two things. Companies can consume in a distinct area at their own pace, at their own speed, because actually velocity is defined by direction and by speed, which is different. And now they can decide where they want to consume, but at the end of the day, we all know that an approach of a suite also has its value. But it's a different suite. It's a suite of best-of-breed solutions who then need to work together. So integration between the applications, a loosely coupled set of applications who solve a distinct line of business problem, but at the end it works together in between the solutions, but also with on-premise. That's what the powerful concept is. And maybe last point, the companies go away from niche spending of niche providers in the cloud as well. They look for that platform-driven approach. I don't mean technology only. I mean also that platform idea. Is there a vendor who cares about how this stuff works together?
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about Fiore. That was a really interesting announcement. So we've got 25 applications that are the most widely used transactions within a company. How did this come about? Was this Sam Yen's team? Can you talk a little bit more about this?
Yeah, sure. We partnered with Sam Yen's team, with Suites, and with the mobile team to look at the history of what we've been doing over the last 2 years with mobile productivity applications, with the experience that our users have with SAP, and how can we renew and improve what our users do. So we went out and interviewed the users of over 250 of our customers and tried to understand what do they use most frequently, what has the most movement in their organization. We picked a few personas, employee, manager, sales representative, and procurement as kind of key targets to go mobilize. And that's how we determined the use cases, the 25 apps that we would put inside Fiore, and then allow our customers to deploy that app however they wanted to. It could be a single app for a user, or it could be 25 for your CEO who can do all of those functions in the corporation. Make it easy to use, easy to deploy, and so it was really a culmination of those three teams at SAP coming together, focused around our customer. So we had 10 great beta customers who came in and worked with us, and every step of the way their users were involved in reviewing and approving and helping us drive the evolution of the user experience forward. And that's how we came up and delivered SAP Fiore at the event.
Last question, I guess, Brian, is you guys ensured that SAP had some skin on the game, that this was going to work.
Yes.
How did that partnership play out? Did you have to lean on that acknowledgement between the two of you that, you know, we need this work, and I know you were probably making every effort to make it work, but were there some times that it was tested and did the relationship succeed?
Again, we're talking about being the first customer on ERP on HANA, and that's even including SAP productively. I mean, they went live very soon before us on their CRM, and we're talking about that. We're trying to make sure that we are paying attention to what they're running into as they're going through their early. This is stuff that we would not normally get. Obviously, as customer one for ERP, we were being fed. This is what the CRM project's saying, helping to course correct us all the way. And absolutely, there were some tough conversations. There have to be. As you're going through this, you're managing the risk. We had to do things like the sidecar I mentioned before. We had value with that. We ended up working with the SAP group and saying, there was a problem, we had to turn that off, we made that decision, but again, it was a lot of communication between the two groups, and frankly, some of it was built on trust. You know, you've got management saying, we are 100% committed all the way up to all the way up the chain in SAP, all the way up the chain in Deere, you're going to make all those barriers go away. And so we just kept on moving forward.
You're allowing your people to do that. I mean, as you all know, it's an extra full-time job. I mean, pretty much that you all do. So, are you worried about getting the ROI on that, or have your experience has been enough where you know you're going to get something back to allow that employee to participate and do extra work, frankly?
Well, frankly, the individuals who participate on these, and I've had a couple of chairpersons of these various SIGs, PLM SIG, the new SIG on configuration management that we've got, they were headed up by my people, and those people dedicate themselves to this and they work the overtime.
Right.
They are not slacking off on their job in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they're getting rewards from this from a professional perspective.
Right.
So.
Bridget, talk to us about this.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I always love seeing a customer that's being highlighted, but I always love it when it's an ASUG customer. And actually, this year's a wonderful example. You know, Under Armour's up there, John Deere, Pepsi, fantastic ASUG members. But this actually happens every year, and so I'm really excited about their success. And I think it's a testament to what the community has to offer and how we can help to build a platform that they can do such incredible things and become market leaders from.
What makes ASUG the place to be?
So, the place to be, from my perspective, happens around connecting people with people. So in my keynote, when I talked about that ASUG needs to become the TCP/IP of people, I don't know if everybody really realizes what that was about. It was that you might have an industry vertical in chemicals, you might have an industry vertical in consumer products, but where the real advantage in the future will be connecting the added value between those two, big data, do the analytics, and that's where we really need to go around trying to the connectiveness. So I think that's what makes us the place to be. You can connect to people, you can connect an information, and you can influence the outcome.
This is what you're calling the network of networks.
The network of networks.
I like that.
So if you ever go into and read any books on the internet, it started out where every individual college had their own nodes of knowledge. What made them to be able to solve bigger problems was connecting them through the networks through TCP/IP. That's what we need to go, that's where we should head to.
So we're winding down this conference and we're always looking forward to the next best thing. BOUC is right around the corner. What are you looking forward to hearing there?
Well, I think a lot of what it is being announced now with Lumira should be to fruition there. So I think figuring out exactly where that roadmap goes and how it's going to tie into the greater BO platform will really be at least hopefully, the news out of that story. And really, I'd like to hear a lot more about people who have gone to BI4. That's still a pretty big matzo ball out there, and I know some people are doing it. It's just tough to get a large sampling of that. So I'm hoping that will be there this year.
And also some Desky updates as well, right?
That's right.
Looking forward to that.
That's right.
Definitely.
How they managed to bury it.
Where is it buried?
Yeah.